Hello viewers, welcome to MBTV Weekly Property Roundup. We bring to you top developments from Indian real estate space, which is going to have a lasting impact on you as consumers. I'm Prasun Kumar, Marketing Head of Magicbricks, and with me is Jayashree Kurup, Senior Real Estate Journalist and Editor-in-Chief of MBTV. Welcome Jayashree.
Thanks, Prasun.
So Jayashree, lots of development happened last week. Some very positive, some not so positive. So let's start with an important development which impacts consumers. And this news came from Ghaziabad, where the big builder of Ghaziabad, Gaursons Realtech, was found guilty of profiteering of about 20 crores under GST. And while the developer has refuted the claim, what is this entire issue all about, and how has it impacted consumers?
One consumer bought a house that was built before 2017, and he was asked to pay at GST rates, the 12%. So he refuted that claim, and he felt that if it was built before the GST period, then there should have been input tax credit. So if the input tax credit had come, he should have been refunded that. If the credit had not come, he should not have been charged. So he went to the GST Council, and there is a cell, and this is something that consumers should know, that there is a cell known as the GST anti-profiteering cell. Now, if somebody charges GST and it gets input tax credit, doesn't pass it on to the consumer down the line, then that is profiteering. And the anti-profiteering cell of the GST Council is supposed to look into it. They looked into it and they felt that the Gaursons had actually profiteered, and they have ordered a look into all the GST payments of the group. Now the developer has come out and said that he hasn't profiteered. So now we're waiting for the council's response. But the point really is, here is one consumer who actually dug deep and said, let me find out whether there is profiteering in this or not.
Yes, and I think also important for consumers to know, as Jayashree said, there is something called a National Anti-Profiteering Authority. So if you do believe that you have been charged more than what you should be charged, you can always approach it. And also that it was one consumer who went and therefore got it addressed. So even as a single consumer, you can do a lot if you approach the right authorities, and that's important. Okay, the next news came, Jayashree, where Supreme Court decided to give interest rate relief to Noida realtors. What was this interest that realtors were being charged for?
See, in Noida, Greater Noida, and Yamuna Expressway, the land belongs to the authority. There is a Noida Authority, Greater Noida Authority, and Yamuna Expressway Authority. Each of the when they give land to the developers, and this happened in 2009-10, developers had to pay 10% of the land cost. Then there was a 2-year moratorium, and the next 7 years they had to pay the rest of the land cost. This was so that the developers could build houses that were more affordable, and they also relaxed the density norms. Now, what happened was that those 2 years when the developers should have been building in style, that was the time when there were a lot of problems in the market as well. One was that the NGT order came, the Okhla Bird Sanctuary NGT order came, so the work was stopped completely. The land agitation also happened at around the same time, so that also delayed the process of building. So the 2 years moratorium that they got, effectively there was no building happening at that time, and also developers were not very forthcoming as far as building and completing on time was concerned as well. Those 2 years, when the builders were told not to build, they were demanding that this should be the zero period when they would not be charged an interest. The authorities, in their wisdom, decided that whether you built or not, it is going to be charged. And they charged a hefty interest rate of 18 to 20%. And that kept piling up, building up to such an extent that now, after RERA is when all the building activity really picked up. When the building activity happened, suddenly you couldn't register the units because the land has not been paid for. And therefore, considering that everybody was at fault, a lot of people were at fault, they went to the Supreme Court and they had asked for a waiver of this interest rate. Now, instead of giving a waiver, the Supreme Court has said it is MCLR plus one, SBI MCLR plus one. Now, this is a very positive move because they created a standard.
Hmm.
Now, anything, no authority and no developer can say, I'm going to charge 18%, 20%, and all that. It is in line with the rarer rates of MCLR plus one. So, it has become a standard, a new standard, and it's a positive move, Prasun.
Hmm.
And it is something that developers can pay. They've already said that you have to pay by, I think, December 31st is what they've said. So
Hmm.
at least that money will come in. And the authorities said that, this will lead to huge losses. So
Hmm.
the court stand was that you're not getting any money anyway. You haven't got any money anyway. Here we are facilitating that money, that MCLR plus one, will come to you by December. So the authority should be that much richer, which I think is a very, very balanced judgment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. So one good news coming, Jayashree, our way, NBFCs and HFCs, for long that part of the market has remained inactive for lack of funds and credits. And now with the announcement of a special liquidity scheme that was made by RBI, HFCs now seek about 10,000 crores of support under that. It would be great if NBFCs and HFCs start lending again for the overall industry, isn't it?
Yes, especially for the MSME and the real estate sectors, the two
Yeah.
sectors that were completely dependent on real estate, on NBFC and HFC funds, and housing finance companies anyway lend only to the housing industry. But
Hmm.
the important thing here is, like we have been doing in the last 2 months, that we have been doing the series on funds for the real estate sector. And I
Hmm.
think the government is also cognizant of the fact that if you don't put that last mile funding, there's no way that projects that have the capability to be completed can also be completed. And I
Mhm.
think that's why they created this fund. The positive news is that so much application has happened,
Hmm.
10,000 crores, over 10,000 crores. But I would be very happy if the news was that over 10,000 crores has been sanctioned to the HFCs and NBFCs. We'll wait for that news and we'll pick it up in one of the weeks when that also happens, that this much liquidity has been infused into the system. That is
Yes.
when the real estate industry will actually kickstart again.
Yes. And along with the stress fund of 25,000 crore that was set up, from where dispersals have also begun. This additional fund would help the liquidity matters a lot in the industry.
Actually, you see, Prasun, there is another problem. The AIF should have been taking risks. The alternate investment fund of 25,000 crores has been given to SBI caps to lend, and they haven't chosen to take risks.
Hmm.
Any alternate investment fund is equipped to take risks and function like a good this thing. But what has happened is that you're not. It's really not happening,
Hmm.
and now we are expecting that these problems should be tackled.
Hmm. Okay. All right. The next good news came from Noida, or rather Greater Noida, where the Jewar airport, the much-awaited J airport, seems to be moving in the direction of getting constructed. Now, UP government has ordered the relocation of farmers from that land to allocated places, and this should kickstart the entire activity, Jashri. And what is the timeline? Do we have any understanding if there is a timeline by which Jewar Airport is likely to come up?
I'm not sure of the timeline, Prasun, but I do know that what this has done is it has showed us that work has started on the ground,
Hmm.
that things are moving forward. And this acquisition of that land in Gram, Jewar, Bangar, the fact is that you have a displacement, the ones who are getting displaced, uh,
Hmm.
how they are to be relocated. Once
Hmm.
these issues are handled, there will be fewer conflicts, and that is what we are going to see through this move. So Jewar
Sure.
is moving forward.
And that's important because in a lot of past projects, infrastructure projects, the controversies surrounding land acquisition and the challenges thereafter have been the major reason of delay.
Yes,
And so, if this gets sorted out, it will be a fast track development.
that's right. And the fortunes of that entire area of Yamuna Expressway, Greater Noida, and all the manufacturing industries which are planning to come there uh,
Yeah.
hinges on the success of the Jewar.
And the SEZ that is surrounding that entire area. Yeah. The last important news came from Gurugram, where the GMDA, sorry, the Gurugram Development Body, has decided to digitize its land record by end of July. Digitization of land record, you have been talking about, Jayashree. A lot of states have been doing it, and a lot of municipal corporations have been doing it. How far we have reached as a country, and what does it mean for Gurugram residents?
We haven't been working on digitization as a country, I feel. Maharashtra has done a great job. Pune, Mumbai, and so on. If you want to check your land records, you can check it online.
Hmm.
Karnataka, you can check it online. Andhra Pradesh, you can check it online. Telangana, you can check it online. But when it comes to states like Haryana, they have been the laggards in this. And it is good news that Gurgaon, basically the governance infrastructure has to be really good. And it takes a lot of effort to digitize these records. Once
Hmm.
digitized, what it really means is that in whatever, it's in an asset state. Suppose you say that this is my land and you show your documents, that is what is uploaded. Now, when someone else comes to read it and says that no, but the document that I've got is in somebody else's name, you go to the authorities, they will counter check and they will add, if it's superseded, they'll add the new land records. That's the only way that a country like India, which has living cities for thousands of years, that's the only way you can clean these land records. We are only at about, I would say, 50-55%. Haven't reached 100% mark. But the good news is that big cities are making a distinct effort. And
Yeah.
some states are doing a good job.
Yes, I believe in recent past we have heard Bangalore doing it, Pune doing it, and a lot of important cities doing it and with priority.
But
So
when we spoke to the land authorities in Bengaluru, what they said is it's easier to do it in rural Karnataka. In urban Karnataka, there are so many vested interests that it becomes far more difficult. But the
mhm,
effort is certainly on.
sure. So on that note, this is it for this week, viewers. We will again come back with important developments from Indian real estate space for next week. Till then, keep watching MBTV.
Thank you so much for watching.